Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we will be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's out in Plano, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. That is the fastest and most direct way to get in touch with me if you have any questions about the plants that I'm featuring in my shopping videos that I do daily. And it is a late afternoon, early evening plant shopping excursion. But before we get into the plants,
I don't know.
Oh.
Hey guys, so if you've already watched our episode, we both have episodes for PETA's planters, so we go into detail about the plants you have. I'm here with Janae. Steven is not here. Insert picture of Steven for Cultivation Corner.
He didn't skip work for us.
He didn't. I mean, I'm off on Tuesdays on a Tuesday. But if you haven't already seen all of the plants that PETA has, Aglaonemas galore, definitely a need, but she also has a bunch of Alocasias, new philodendron hybrids. What else did you see, Janae?
Oh my goodness. Like even this beautiful philodendron ring of fire, and she has escaletos, y'all. All very reasonable and pet friendly plants
and
as well.
Let's not forget the Syndapsis too. She has some Syndapsis on totems, variegated Syndapsis. Yes. For those that are rare plant finders. Definitely get to PETA's planters. It is in Dallas, Texas. Small business, but it packs a huge impact when it comes to your plant collection. We've been shopping here for a while.
Yes.
I'm addicted. She feeds my plant addiction, and I need help, but it's okay. It's good, right?
It's okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to put a blurb out there, especially for those that are discovering my plant shopping YouTube channel. I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. My name is Richie. I am also part of the Cultivation Corner Plant Podcast Show. We will be premiering season 2, February 18th, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Cultivation Corner YouTube channel. But as you guys can see, I am actually going to this Lowe's location, and you can see that there are quite a bit of plants. So we're going to be looking at some Costa Farms plants, Live Trends plants, and Urban Jungle plants. Those are the main three providers of plants for these big box stores. You already know plant foldies, and for those that have been really following my YouTube channel for the past year and tuning in daily, yes, daily, to the live premiere chats, I really appreciate it. We've grown our community quite far, and it's starting to really take off. And that's with the help of you guys. For those that love plants, for those that love to discuss plants, interact with other plant lovers, go shopping for plants who have plant addictions, whatever you want to call it. This is definitely the YouTube channel for you. I enjoy making daily plant shopping videos, and I've also started to diversify some of my content, and I've done some unboxing videos. I've done some how-to tutorials for some of the plants. I've been actually converting a lot of my plants to semi-hydro substrates, and I am starting to integrate some of my origami ASMR content into my plant channel. So for those that didn't know, this channel was originally an origami ASMR channel where I did daily origami paper cranes. My goal is to fold 1 million origami paper cranes in my lifetime. I have been folding origami paper cranes every day for about 8 years. So you can only imagine how many paper cranes I have in totes. But that will be another future content when I start to show some of my personal house plants. But as you guys can see right here, plant foldies, you already know I love talking about plants. I love picking up plants. We are going to be looking at some of these urban jungle plants right here. So we're looking at some different types of Alocasias. This one is for $13.98. So a lot of these urban jungle plants are really popping up with a lot of different types of Alocasias. Here's the thing, in my opinion, about Alocasias. Hear me out. They're gorgeous plants. They are becoming even more readily available, different varieties of them. You can find them at Walmart. If you go shopping at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, even Target. The problem with Alocasias is that they're a little bit more of a challenging plant to grow. They require a little bit more humidity. They definitely need a lot of bright indirect light. You have to stay on top of the watering, and unfortunately, they are a little bit more of a plant pest magnet when it comes to spider mites. So, as far as Alocasia, they have beautiful foliage. I wouldn't really discourage anybody from adding them, but I would actually encourage people to kind of skip Alocasia, especially if if you're a beginner and settle for maybe a Sansevieria. And I settle for Sansevieria. When I say settle, doesn't mean that you should settle for it because that's the only plant you can grow. It's really because that plant is going to bring you a lot of joy. I mean, you're looking at this Alocasia here. This is an Alocasia black velvet. Love it. But the problem is with velvety textured Alocasia, or even plants, house plants that are velvety texture, they tend to just require more humidity, and they're definitely spider mite magnets. I don't know what it is about velvety textured plants, but they just tend to be more spider mite magnets. And that's the thing about plant collections. A lot of us want to be able to just pick up plants, go shopping at big box stores, and feel like we can just pick up these plants, set it on a shelf, and forget about them. But the problem is that's not how easy plant care can be unless you actually go for more of the easy care plants. I'll recommend a couple of them as we pick up some of the plants today. Like for instance, this one is for $13.98. This is another urban jungle plant, and this one is a ZZ Zenzi plant. So these are ZZ plants. These are probably the easiest house plants you can add into your collection because, as I've said in all of my videos every single day, they are low light tolerant and they are drought tolerant. Those are two characteristics you want to really look at when it comes to plants, is the fact that they actually are low light tolerant. So not all of our households are going to have all of these bright windows. I would assume that most people wouldn't have the best ideal bright conditions for plants. So those are the plants that you want to gravitate to: low light tolerant and drought tolerant. For somebody like me who has a very demanding career, I mean, like I said, again, I work a minimum of 10 hours. It is a very demanding career. It's one that actually feeds my finances, so I'm not complaining about it. I've actually had my job for quite a while, for a good 15 years at this point. And it's one of those things where as I continue to share a little bit more tidbits about me and my personal life, I just kind of reflect back on the fact that it is nice to have a stable job, a job that really keeps me financially stable to the point where I can go splurge on plants. Does that mean that I need to be irresponsible with my finances? No, but I am addicted to plants. Like, that's something that in the Cultivation Corner Plant podcast, I'm hoping that you guys will tune into season 2. We do have season 1 where we only had like 5 episodes that were about 30 minutes each. We did listen to everybody's feedback. It seems like you guys wanted to renew the show. So we have 10 episodes that are a minimum of 45 minutes to an hour long. So it's a little bit longer as far as a podcast, and I really enjoyed it. And there is an episode where we really talk about plant addictions. There are literal plant addictions. And to me, I've always been pretty transparent about how I feel, to the point where sometimes I feel like I am just picking up these plants, but I'm really talking to the plant foldies. I'm really trying to engage with each and every one of you guys and really talking to you guys directly via YouTube, utilizing this social media platform, and just giving you my insights, whether it's plant care tips, shopping, a little bit more about me, or just everyday commentary. And the problem is I am going through this plant addiction where I can't stop buying plants. Part of, I guess, getting out of any type of addiction is, number 1, recognizing that you have a plant addiction, for instance, and then number 2, finding ways to mitigate it. Like, I really thought about, maybe I should not go to a big box store every day. Maybe I should not put myself in a situation where I'm around plants, where they're accessible, where I can just say, okay, this is $13.98. Let me go ahead and buy a plant. But that's not really a long-term solution for a plant addiction. More so just any addiction. I think it's really finding a way to moderate your cravings, I would suppose. But plants, they're just addicting. And I will ask anybody that is actually tuning into this shopping video today, if you feel like you have a plant addiction where you literally can't stop buying plants, you literally can't stop adding plants to your plant collection. For instance, I'm picking up this Aglaonema Silver Bay, for instance, $19.98. I believe this is a live transplant, and Aglaonema Silver Bay, while it is a common plant, while Aglaonemas are super underrated plants. They're easy to care for, they're low light tolerant, but for some reason, they're not plants that necessarily trend or are popular in the houseplant community. And, you know, it baffles me that we're not talking about it. So I am going to be slightly obnoxious, or maybe I am going to be obnoxious about really trying to popularize Aglaonema. But when I tie it back to a plant addiction, anytime I see an Aglaonema that is not part of my plant collection, I will pick it up, not even think twice about buying it. And so even today's video, while we are going to be looking and picking up plants, I am going to give you some care tips, but a lot of this video is really going to be talking about how much we love plants and how much plants could possibly add negative impact in our lives, in a sense that we may not always be financially responsible. So I don't know, plant foldies, I did want to really reflect on that. And what's interesting is those that really follow this YouTube channel, you know that I can easily give you plant care tips. I can tell you about this philodendron moonlight, but I've really started to think about how do I pivot and keep our viewers interested, because I can go and record plant shopping videos, pick these plants up, give you my plant insights, give you my commentary, but I want to give you a little bit more spice, a little bit more layers when it comes to these plant shopping videos. I did a little bit of research. I started watching even more content creators on YouTube when it comes to the presentation of some of their shopping videos, and I want to try to differentiate myself a little bit, whether that is borderline rambling about things that are not necessarily related to plants. I don't know, plant foldies. I just utilize these plant shopping videos to really engage and just talk to y'all. And I will say, even during the live premiere chat, you guys are amazing. You guys are really just talking it up and chatting with each other about your plant love, the things that you have added into your plant collection, plant care tips. So before I continue to ramble on about some of the content that I want to continue to add to this plant YouTube channel, I did want to touch base on the fact that seasonally, as spring starts to arrive, it is going to be really exciting to go shopping for plants, because more big box stores like Lowe's, for instance, are going to get a lot of plant restocks. A couple of days ago, I went to a really restocked, super full Lowe's. Our community really want to see, or do you want me to continue to pivot on to different types of content besides me going to a Lowe's, a Home Depot, or a Target and picking up plants, giving you the plant pricing, giving you my insights? Do you want a little bit more than that, or is this something that I need to just continue growing and posting? So please leave that in the comment section below. That does kind of intrigue me, because I really do look at the analytics when it comes to the channel, and I've done some social media experiments. One of them would have to be maybe the titles of my video, or the content, or the way we present these shopping videos. It's quite interesting. What I will say is, for those that have left comments, for those that press the thumbs up, and when I say the thumbs up or the like button, it really does help. It's interesting how if we get, like, for instance, 100 likes plus within a 24-hour span after the video has premiered, literally you'll either get 1,000 views or up to 3,000 views within a 48-hour span. And that's interesting, because that way more people are actually getting this type of content. And so I really do encourage y'all. I know that I've been on a bandwagon about really being passionate about asking for your support. So hopefully, plant foldies, you can do that. But okay, let me get off of my little soapbox and plant foldies and start really talking about the plant. So if you've actually made it this far without clicking off, I appreciate it. I know I can, maybe ramble on a little bit, but I don't know. I just feel very comfortable picking up plants and showing y'all. So we're going to be talking about this. Again, Aglaonema Silver Bay. You notice that it's got that beautiful silver foliage. Now, these ones are by Costa Farms. These are of these self-watering planters that they sell at Lowe's for $15.98. And you know, the one thing I would ask Costa Farms, especially this year, can you believe it's actually February? We're almost into the second week of February. This coming week is going to be Valentine's week, and we're already seeing a lot of these plants. But what I would love to see from Costa Farms is actually to see if they can release more Aglaonema. The thing about Aglaonema is they are known as the Chinese evergreen plant. There's many varieties, but unfortunately, at least in the United States, at least in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at, we're only subjected to what Costa Farms can potentially send to the big box stores, which is really the majority of my plant content. But when you start to do your research, like for instance, if you go on Etsy or you go on Instagram and you see some of those Indonesian nurseries that feature Aglaonema, it is a whole new world of colorful plants. And it's interesting because plant foldies, you guys are really coming in full force. I feel like I have plant influenced some of y'all to really take a second glance on Aglaonema. Now, as far as Dieffenbachia, for instance, that one is also for $15.98. I like Dieffenbachia. I really do. You know, my family is originally from the Philippines, and the Philippines is a Southeast Asian country with a lot of humidity, a lot of warm climate. And whenever I went on vacation there last year, I remember seeing Dieffenbachia, and they were just grown as almost like landscape plants. They got massive, they were huge. But you know, growing Dieffenbachia indoors, it's really challenging because they really do require a lot of bright indirect light, and they need higher humidity levels. They tend to be a little bit more spider mite prone, and if you don't give them the right conditions in your home, they tend to get super leggy. Now, this is my one of my favorite plants to yell the name Hedera helix, or what you call, the correct way to say it is actually Hedera helix or English ivy. It is a plant foldy staple, and I really hope that I am not scaring any new viewers that have discovered this channel today, for instance, but I mispronounce Hedera helix as Hedera helix, because when I was originally saying it, that was the way I was saying it until a plant foldy actually gave me the correct pronunciation. However, I ended up just keeping up with it because it's really funny. Kathy, especially Kathy, my plant foldy, my super loyal viewer from Canada, you guys count the amount of times I say Hedera helix in a video, but you'll see that Costa Farms has quite a bit of these Hedera helix or English ivy in 8-inch planters. Here's the thing about English ivy, and I've seen other plant content creators talk about it. They are probably one of the most challenging plants to grow indoors alongside with calatheas, because they just tend to get spider mites, and for some reason growing them indoors, they just tend to do that. I also wanted to go highlight Costa Farms. This is a Sansevieria Golden Flame. So this is a beautiful yellow variegated snake plant. And you know, Sansevierias, they are marketed as an easy to care for plant. It's a plant that some people would overlook. They would probably find it common, but these yellow flame Sansevierias have really taken the market, especially when you look at big box stores like Lowe's, Walmart, and Home Depot. Now, Target, for instance, you know, if you love Target, I love Target. They're super classy. They have a lot of plants coming in from Trending Tropicals Costa Farms. I even see live transplants and even urban jungle plants. So for the spring season, we are going to definitely see quite a bit of plants. I'm super excited to start this this quarter off by going to PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, Florida. That is going to be on the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd of February. Super excited because I will be actually going to Florida, to Orlando, Florida. I've never been to Florida. It's my first time. And when you think about all of these tropical houseplants, these big box stores that carry all of these beautiful houseplants, Florida is the mecca when it comes to tropical plants, at least in the United States. So it'll be really interesting. So if you are a viewer, a subscriber, a plant foldy that is going to be attending the PlantCon 2025 in Orlando, Florida, please send me a direct message on Instagram. That's really my one social media that I use. I don't really have a Facebook, so if you want to meet up, you can see that. And yes, I will be I will be face on when it comes to Orlando. You will definitely see my face. I won't be walking around with a silly mask. And it's still quite interesting how some people are demanding that I show my face on my YouTube channel. And it's really interesting. Like I said again, plant foldies, it's one of those things where when you start to go on social media platforms, sometimes people feel entitled to demand certain content or how you structure your content. And everybody's entitled to their own opinions. What I do find interesting as well is with this community, we are you guys are definitely supportive of the direction I go with my plant content, and I really appreciate that. But as far as PlantCon, please say hello. I will be wearing my Grow Folds t-shirt, so I will be easily recognizable. It's pretty easy to find me anyways. I mean, even when I am filming at a big box store and I start talking to people that are just shopping for plants, I've been recognized clearly because of my voice, so I thought that was kind of interesting as well. But you can see right here, this Lowe's is quite stocked. I'm looking for some new trending tropical plants, so we're gonna see if they've released some here. But what I do see is Costa Farms has released quite a bit of Epipremnum aureum or pothos plants. You can see that is a lemon meringue pothos, and I did want to go highlight a couple of plant products that I would recommend for your plant collection, for your plant care. The Alaska fertilizer, that fish fertilizer, is amazing. It really does help boost the growth of your plants. Anything organic of that nature. I do have some new succulents and that I'm looking for some supplements or fertilizer to use, so I might try that Dynamite succulent fertilizer. You already know I live by Super Thrive. Super Thrive is a B vitamin supplement that you can use for your plants. You can use it when you are repotting plants or when a plant is really just stressed or dehydrated. That's one way to really rejuvenate them. That one is for $14.98. And then obviously there's plenty of Miracle Grow fertilizer. Miracle Grow, some people have different opinions about it. I would tell you from my experience, especially just using the Miracle Grow all-purpose fertilizer, it is very effective. I've been using it for years. I have no issues. I think Miracle Grow fertilizers are great. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and show you even more Costa Farms plants here. So these are all self-watering planters. This one is a Philodendron Birkin. Some people will call this the Philodendron White Measure. I'm not really sure if they're the same type of philodendron or if the White Measure has higher striping variegation. Again, plant foldies, feel free to chime in and leave into the comment section below. I love any comments you guys put into the comment section. I always ask though that we comment and be mindful about the commentary we put in social media. Be respectful. I mean, I am open to feedback. I definitely am, but definitely open that discussion in a way where it becomes positive and it really resonates to the rest of the community. But as you can see right here, beautiful Aglaonema Maria. That is a green plant. And when you talk about plants that are underrated, not only are certain plants underrated because of the genus, but even the color. So unless the plant is variegated, unless the plant has some really unique pink variegation or color, the green plants just don't get as much love. And to me, the green on plants is really the OG. It is going to have the plant that is going to be the most vigorous and the probably the easier plant to take care of. With all of these new hybrids, with all of these new variegation, with all of these new tissue cultured plants, it's kind of challenging to keep up with all of the new varieties. But what I will tell you is this whole table right here of Dracaena, I think this is a Dracaena Dorado for $12.98 in a 6-inch planter. This is another Costa Farms plant that I would recommend. Dracaenas in general, I feel like people kind of associate them as more of like a business corporate office type of display plant versus a plant that you would put in somebody's plant collection at home. I love Dracaenas. I mean, look at how gorgeous that green is. And again, with Dracaenas, they are a little bit more low light tolerant and they're definitely drought tolerant. In terms of pest, I would say Dracaena could be potentially susceptible to mealybugs, but other than that, they're really hardy plants. They're very durable plants, and you can see that they come in many different varieties. Some of them are more compact than others. Like you can see right here, this one is, I believe, a Dracaena Lemon Surprise, $12.98. I love the neon colors on this, and this is another plant that I would recommend. Anybody who is starting a houseplant collection, for those that have discovered this shopping video, just know that when it comes to certain easy care plants, I'm going to recommend them to you. This is definitely a plant I would recommend for any beginner that is wanting to start a plant collection, or just a beginner easy to care for plant that is also cost effective. And that's the thing about shopping. We want to make sure that we are making financial decisions that are responsible. It's easy for all of us to go into a rabbit hole and just buy it all, right? You want to go just consume and buy it all. The problem is, yes, you might be able to afford to buy plants, but at the same time, what happens when you have more than 200 plants and you don't have time to water the plants, or there's just not enough space? And it's interesting because I've been in that situation. I would say that I'm slightly in that situation. I am thankful that I've made better decisions in terms of, being intentional about some of the plants that I want to collect. And when you talk about bargains or easy plants, this one is another Hydra Helix, or what you call a garland ivy. And if you notice, these are the clearance plants at Lowe's. So Lowe's typically has clearance plants. And the thing about clearance plants, aka 911 Let Rescue Me plants, you can find them in positions where these plants haven't really declined in health. The only drawback about getting a plant that's on clearance is the higher probability that the plant is either going to have some plant pests, and when you take it home, it could potentially bring more plant pests to your home. Yes, you are saving money by getting these plants, for instance, for 50% off, but there is a acclimation period, a recovery period, a rehabilitation period for any of these clearance plants. And I do want to eventually go and do an episode where I go shopping for plants at a big box store and pick out a rescue plant. I want to show you the steps on what you should do when you buy a plant. But I'll tell you, say you buy this Hydra Helix. This one is the Spear Point Hedera Helix. Beautiful plant. You can see that it's got a little bit more narrow leaves. What I would do if I buy a plant from this shelf with all of the Rescue Me plants or the clearance plants is definitely invest in buying systemic granules. So it's like a little granules that are pesticides that you can put on the top of the soil, or you can repot the plant and get rid of the soil with fresh new soil. Definitely spray it with insecticidal soap or neem oil spray. That way you can get rid of any potential pest. And I would quarantine the plant for at least 3 to 4 weeks away from your main plant collection. Like if you have a plant room like me, I have one room dedicated to like my 100+ plants. I wouldn't necessarily just put that plant in there. And here's an interesting tidbit as well, plant foldies. I feel really chatty today, but whenever I go shopping and do plant content, whenever I film videos like this, when I get home, I definitely don't go around my plant collection. I'll go to the shower and make sure that I clean myself up before I get myself around plants, because this is the kind of weird part about plant pest is, say you're at a big box store, I picked up this Hydra Helix or this Asterix Ivy. This Asterix Ivy might have spider mites. The spider mites might actually get onto my hands. The spider mites might actually get in our hair. They're very microscopic, and that's really how you start plant infestations in your plant pest. Don't want to make anybody feel paranoid, because clearly that's not always going to be the case. But for somebody like me who has quite a bit of plants in my plant collection, I have to be very mindful, very cautious, and very diligent about, or not diligent, but also vigilant about making sure that I keep my pests at bay. Otherwise, it could really destroy a plant collection. Now, as far as this Exotic Angels plant by Costa Farms, this one is an Janet Craig compacta, a green plant, a plant that's super easy. It's another plant that as it gets larger, it does become a little bit taller, but it stays compact at the same time. Now, this one is another Pilea. This is a Pilea Dark Mystery, and I love dark foliage plants. Palea plants are plants though that are needing to be a little bit more on the moist side. They definitely don't like their soil to dry out completely for too long. Otherwise they